Hi BookTube, it's Peg. I am back here at the History Shelf, and today is all about magazines. I've had quite a few viewers comment that they'd like to see more of all the magazines that I talk about that I subscribe to, because I've told you before a few times that I subscribe to a lot of magazines and periodicals, and I mean, just alone with my magazine subscriptions, I wouldn't need books, but that's unheard of. So I'm going to show you my magazine collection, or at least the titles of the magazines that I subscribe to. So this video is only for those that are historical in nature. I also subscribe to a couple of news, like news periodicals, literary journals, literary criticism, or at least you know, those type of journals that just kind of have a combination of essays, current events, poems, literature, things like that. Book reviews are huge. I subscribe to a couple of just book review magazines and periodicals. So I'll save those for another time. Oh, I've left one upstairs. But it's more of a journal. I'll save that for the second batch of journals and magazines that I'll show you. So for right now, let's begin, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to start with a set of magazines that I have been a subscriber for, I don't even know how long now. Maybe 8, 9 years. And it's a publisher that is in, I believe, the Netherlands. I'm pretty sure it's the Netherlands. It's Karawansari Publishers. I'll leave a link below to their website. But they produce journals or magazines, some books. They also have like wargaming magazines or something like that. But I was attracted to them early on because they put out, at the time, they only put out this magazine. One of my all-time favorites, Ancient Warfare magazine. This is their most recent issue. This is the June, I believe. Yep. They've undergone some like revamping over the years. I've seen these magazines change, and it's just been kind of fun to see the magazine grow and evolve. Again, I think I might have mentioned in another video, I just love their artwork. Their centerfolds are always a huge draw for me. They have printed up, well, they printed a book of the artwork of Ancient Warfare, and I do want to get my hands on that book. And I think they're making a second compilation for their next magazine, which I will show you in a minute. But they always have such wonderful, these are original commissioned artwork. And it's just, it's wonderfully visual throughout. And I've never just seen a magazine that's just strictly devoted to ancient warfare. And I love ancient history. So I was turned on very early to ancient warfare. And you can also get it on Kindle, and it's digital, but let me see if they have the name of the publishers on here. I'll link it below. So Ancient Warfare, and I've collected these. I don't throw these out. I just find that they're so beautiful. The articles are written by a diverse set of people from around the world. You know, maybe even graduate students, but published historians, and you know, they're studied, they're peer reviewed, I believe, and I just find for the money it's so worth it to have this set of to have this magazine from Karawansari Press or publishers. But what I was trying to say is that I've collected all of these, and they even have binders with the artwork on the front. So I have bound binders that hold 12 issues each, and protect them. It's in a very beautiful cardboard binding so that when you set it on the shelf, it's like it says Ancient Warfare on the side. It's just really neat. Now you're seeing me geek out. Okay, what else is new at the history shelf? Because I am a history nerd. That's right. So the other magazine that I subscribed to eventually after I was reading Ancient Warfare for a while, I noticed that they had a magazine called Medieval Warfare. And at the time, I wasn't really into medieval studies, but I grew into it. I just started becoming really interested in medieval era. Now this is an older issue because I'm going to show you. They actually did a redesign. Um, and Ancient Warfare has not had a redesign, and I hope they don't. You know, I'm not trying to say anything bad, but I really love this cover image where the artwork goes from cover, you know, to end, you know, where it just bleeds off the page. I love that. But anyway, this is Medieval Warfare. So I grabbed an older issue just so you could see what it used to look like. This was from a couple years ago. But same type of deal. You get really good, fantastic articles, fantastic artwork. Let me see if I can find the great photos of forts and just it's a great. I just love this magazine. Let's see if I can find the centerfold here. Ah, look at that. Oh, it's amazing. So this is another one I subscribe to. When this was written, they were covering like they have a opening section which is just like, you know, current events. They were covering Vikings, the show over here. There's Lagertha. I love the Viking show. So that was another one I was subscribing to for a long time. And then here comes along. Oh, sorry. Let me show you what the redesign looks like. Okay, so you had Medieval Warfare looking like that, right? Tell me what you prefer. I don't know. And then this is the most recent issue. It was redesigned about a year ago, I think, or more. And so now it's more of a white border. I think what they were trying to do was to really differentiate the magazine from Ancient Warfare because they both had the similar logo in the upper left corner. And I get it. They want this product to stand on its own, so it has its own look. It's spelled out across the top now, in like this old like medievally script. But they kind of redesigned a little bit. The insides, not too much. They put some nice border action going on in there, and this is the most recent issue, May June 2020. I have a neat article here of Ships and Men, Danish naval organization in late 12th century. Yeah, like I said, a wide variety of authorship and scholarship. They generally do stick to warfare issues in both of these magazines, just so you know. It's definitely military history. But you might get a couple of stray articles here and there about culture or cuisine or things like that. Here's a hand-drawn insert or centerfold. But great photography. They include a lot of pictures of what do you call it? I'm just blanking on the words, but artifacts. Thank you. Hello. There you go. So this is the redesign of Medieval Warfare, but a great magazine. Okay, so after having subscribed to these for a few years, the same publisher decided, you know what, we've heard from a lot of you that you would, you might like a magazine focusing on ancient history broadly and not just on warfare. And they actually did like I think a little startup campaign to see if they would have some support for it. And they did, and got the funding and stood it up, started getting subscriptions, and now it's paying for itself. But I'll show you the most recent, couple of recent issues. They've made 27 issues now, so, what, 3 years? No, wait, 12, 22. Hello? Oh, I guess Goldie doesn't like this. She's, she spits on my magazines. Yeah, so a little over 2 years old this magazine is, and this one is just called Ancient History. This one was the March-April issue. I got ripped up. That stinks. It ships from overseas, so sometimes it comes in a like a little plastic cover, but sometimes they're a little bit dinged up. But like this one was on the magnificent Mycenaeans, life during the Greek Bronze Age. So when I heard about this magazine, I'm like, yes, this is what I want, because I don't want to read about warfare all the time. I want to read about like the architecture, the poetry, the writing, the literature, the religion, and this magazine is just beautiful. And they get into that. So it's the same publisher, but this is a different take on things. Oh, look at that. Salvo Ruano's latest recreation of the portrait bust of Julius Caesar. They're saying this is what Julius Caesar might have looked like, guys. What do you think of that? Sorry for the glare. Oh, God. There's so much glare, I don't know what to do. Anyway. So, yeah. Oh, look at this. And they cover a wide range. So it's not just, Europe. They look at ancient history broadly across the world. In fact, like here's an article on. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. I need to get a little crash course in Chinese Mandarin. Qin Shi Huang's Cult of Personality: The Immortal Emperor. So they'll take you to China. They'll take you to other places. And that's what I like, because I like reading about other times, other places. They'll even in this one they'll even include like what they ate back in the ancient times in different places, and include a recipe. Isn't that funny? This is the most recent one. This looks really good. I can't wait to read this article. Learning how to be Christian. Religious transition in late antiquity. Yeah, just more of the same high quality stuff. Beautiful artwork in the centerfold. I just eat this stuff up, you guys. What can I say? I love it. As far as finding if you guys are interested, just check out their website. I know that they sell these at Barnes and Noble newsstands, but unless you're wanting to go in there every time wearing a mask or whatnot, you might want to just check out their website and see what they usually have some deals going on. You can subscribe and have like a 3-month subscription or whatever and get a taste for it. You could do digital. But yes, those are my top 3 that I want to show you. They're collectibles for me. They're just rich and stunning in every way. And then we'll get into my more domestic printed here in America ones. All right, I'll just dive into archaeology real quick. So I subscribe to archaeology. This is the most recent issue, May, June. Weapons of the Ancient World. I'm a little bit behind on my reading in this magazine, so I'm trying to go back a couple years. Well, actually, I'm only a year behind, so 6 issues behind, but great, unseen articles, people at digs, what they're discovering. It's so funny because I'll see something in the news saying, wow, this huge bust of a Roman goddess head was found somewhere, and then I'm like, I bet you there's going to be, there will be an article on it in archaeology very soon, and they're always, they're on top of things. So subscribe to archaeology, and I'm up to renew this one. I don't know if I am just because I'm so behind on my reading, but this is biblical archaeology review, the most recent issue. I think they're moving to quarterly, which might be better because I wasn't I can't keep up with the bi-monthlies. They come so quickly. Um, I think Bill at the Rutenberg Library mentioned that he used to subscribe to this, or he does. So they've also done a redesign. They used to have like a border that went all the way around, and so they've kind of reformatted and tried to give it a more modern look. So, I'm interested in biblical archaeology as well. Um, I think anyone really, you don't have to be a believer um, or of the Christian faith to just find it fascinating, you know. Um, so that's another one I subscribe to, or I might continue. I haven't decided yet. But it really is cheap for biblical archaeology review. I think it's like $15 a year, maybe. But then again, I'm like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. All right, and then I'll show you my most recent. This is my newest subscription. I think I've showed this to you before. I've only received one issue of this so far. But again, I got it for the visual aspect. This is Minerva. And this is Archaeology and Ancient Art. So I just wanted to see the photography, the drawings, the statuary. It's a big glossy magazine. I think what happened was I received like a special deal in the mail. I mean, because sometimes your name gets on a mailing list. Big brother. They see what you're buying. They see, what you might be interested in. Anyway, they offered it for like a year subscription for, I don't even, $25 or something. And it was, ooh. Now see, this is what I like. Now I see something like this right here. This book ad, The Persian War and Herodotus and Other Ancient Voices by Osprey Publishing. Look at that. See, this is how I find the books that I do sometimes. I'll just be browsing a magazine and I see an ad and I'm like, well, I think I might have to have that. But that does look good. I'm going to have to write that down for later for me to look up. This is a lot like archaeology in a way, but just showing you in a very cleaned up, beautiful fashion, like museum pieces, So, yeah, Minerva is my most recent. Subscription acquisition. Let's see. I'm trying to group these, but it might be hard. Let me just knock these two out real quick. I am a member of the American Historical Association, and as part of... Let me try that again. As part of my membership, I get the, I think it's every other month. It's printed by Oxford University Press. I get the American Historical Review. This big, just chunky. It's big. There's a few essays. This most recent one is several essays. Then you get responses to the essay. Interesting. We have old age in European cultures, age in the construction of gendered and raced citizenship. Wow. Then we have like a feminist methodology of age grading in history in Africa. Power knowledge. Power knowledge and the epistemic contract on age. So the theme on this one is aging, apparently, or age. But what I really love about these are the book reviews. All the way we have digital reviews, and then we have, I just love it. This is good stuff. And then featured reviews. So this gives me ideas about more books to read, as if I need any more books to read. But just a lovely full essay setup. Like, these are long reviews, long academic reviews. very arcane titles many times. So you'd find stuff in here that you wouldn't just see in your New York Review of Books or Wall Street Journal review or whatever. Uh, there's a lot of university, university press books that are reviewed here. Very, just a lot of stuff, a lot of academic books, but also they might throw in some of the ones that are more like general history. They have feature reviews and then reviews of books. Okay, I got you. All right, you get the picture. So I get the American Historical Review, and I will save these. And okay, so you know what? We'll take a quick break because Goldie has to go outside. I'm going to use my nifty pause button. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I love that. Okay, so along with the American Historical Review, the other part of my membership benefit I get is a little, it's a little monthly 40-page magazine called Perspectives on History. I'm always doing that. Anyway, Perspectives on History. This one they have an article on like pandemics, when disaster strikes. I tried to rip off the the label, but it starts to rip off the whole paper. I hate that. So, this is just like waiting room reading, just very lightweight kind of stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff in here is kind of interesting. So this is what they call the news magazine of the AHA. And yeah, like this one has an interesting article on the AHA, the AHA historians in COVID-19. So that I will read because I find that very fascinating, and just to see how historians are reacting to that. Both of these items keep me in the loop with what's going on with the historiography, the history field, the profession, other historians, what they're saying, and what they're saying about the future of history, teaching in higher education, and so all those things interest me. All right, so now we're moving into more of a military history section, but before we do that, let me get this one out of the way because it's not really military history. I'll save all the military history for last. So if you don't like military history after this magazine, then feel free to bounce. But hey, I'm happy if you stay. Love National Geographic History magazine. How many of you guys out there subscribe to this, or have looked at one of these, or have picked one up at the newsstand? Do you love it? I love this. This is the most recent one. This is the May-June. It's featuring the Amazons. Again, this is such another heavily, it's heavy on the visuals and the photos and the artwork, but as short as the articles are, they're really well written. It's not like super in-depth, but it's just enough to like whet your appetite for a certain topic, and then kind of take you a little further in on your own research. Oh, here's a big essay on, or not a big essay, but a story on Darwin. They always have such a lovely selection of history in each episode, in each edition, each issue. They range from time, eras, countries, culture, war, religion, science. Obviously, did I say science? I probably did. With Darwin, they usually always have an article on Egyptian history, and I love it. I love it. I love Egyptian history. It is so fast. I could read about that all the time. So, National Geographic History is another one I subscribe to, and that's bi-monthly, 6 times a year. Yay. Okay, so, all right. Now we're moving into my military history magazines. Let's start with one of my favorite eras. I'll be right back. I gotta let the dog in. It's like having children. Although I'm sure many of you with children will be like, no, it's not. Civil War Monitor. What a great magazine. This came on the scene. How many years ago has it been now when this came along? It's volume 10. Gosh, it's already been 10 years. That is so crazy. Here's some photos of their recent covers. Why do I love this magazine? Let me tell you what. It's a little story time. When I was a young girl and I loved reading history, and I was a huge just Civil War nut, and I still am, I subscribed, or my parents, they paid for it, obviously, but Civil War Times Illustrated, it was called at the time, Civil War Times Illustrated, and then eventually America's Civil War, and they were bi-monthly, and I would get a magazine every month because those two were made by the same publisher, and they were printed on opposite months, so you always had a new issue. And Civil War Times, they dropped the illustrated recently. I mean, up until about 8 years ago, I think I subscribed to it, maybe even less than that. But I just couldn't keep up. And then I found that, like with America's Civil War, that was more battle-oriented, and it was just kind of rehashing a lot of articles on the same type of battles. And I was like, okay, I've read about these battles, I've read about this. So it was hard to cut the cord, but I did. I stopped subscribing to both magazines. I needed to save money. Well, then this brand new magazine came along. I picked a copy up at the newsstand, and I read it, and I found it to be just what I was looking for. It basically takes you into a more, I want to say, nuanced and scholarly reading. The essays or the articles are much longer. They're footnoted, which I think is invaluable. I mean, look at all these footnotes they put in the back. Footnoted scholarly articles, but that are well written for a general audience. And they don't just cover battles or just, cover-to-cover features on generals or famous generals. It covers also cultural things. And in fact, they've shown that they are engaging with current events. And one of their past issues, which was really good, I think it was this cover right here with the tattered Confederate flag there. It's called Embattled Banner. But it was talking about the controversies and the debates going on within the historical community, and about abolishing, abolishing and banning the flag, I should say, banning the Confederate flag. They also had a recent article on Confederate monuments, and they have some of the most premier Civil War historians weighing in. I think like Gary Gallagher wrote an article on the issue of the Confederate monuments and like the banning of the Confederate flag in the South or wherever people are using it. Mostly the South, obviously, but they engage with current events, so it's almost like you're getting a historical magazine on the Civil War, but it's talking about things that are going on today, the discussions that are going on, and I love that. There's a timeliness to it that makes it doesn't make it feel like it's some time capsule magazine where it's just you're opening it up and you're reading about this battle and that general and this campaign. They have a series where they will show a photo that hasn't been shown in a while and then zero in on a certain part of it and tell you what's going on in the background. It's just so neat. Like this one, A Deathly Calm. I don't know, there's something going on there where it's like there's actually a body just kind of laid out or something like that. But anyway, they do different things in this magazine, and I just think it's so neat. And yeah, it's a quarterly. It is super cheap. I'd be happy to link it below for you guys. I don't make any, I don't make a commission or anything, but if you're interested in the Civil War, you just want to get a few magazines a year to read about it, the Civil War Monitor is the way to go. I love this magazine. Okay, now, the other day, I showed you that I got the most recent issue of Military Heritage, right? And that they recently did a redesign, and they made it a bigger size, and they moved to a quarterly format. This is the size it used to be. I just grabbed an issue from January. Okay, so you can see. Let's see if you can see how they. Just a little bit bigger. You can see on the sides here. On this side, it's longer, a little taller is the new one. The old magazine was 70 pages. The only quibble I have with Military Heritage is I love the magazine. It's just a very tiny print. This is how it used to be. I think it's a little bit better now. Just a little bit better with the bigger portfolio size like magazine, but I think what they do is that the leading is slightly wider between sentences, so it's not as dense. So I just wanted to kind of show you what it used to look like before, and they cover a wide variety of things. It's not always like World War II or Vietnam or anything like that. It covers all eras. And oh, you know what? I recently subscribed. I had an offer for a $15 a year subscription to World War II magazine. They cashed my check. Still have not received my first issue, so that's kind of a bummer. I guess I have to call the customer service line to say, hi, you took my money, now where's the magazine? I was curious to see what that magazine might look like. And then I think I should, oh, so this is the other magazine that is very much, at the time I was debating, I'm like, I can't have two of these, they're so similar, but I said, oh, who cares? So this is Military History, and you've got Military Heritage, right? Two different publishers. I think Sovereign Media puts out Military Heritage, and the Weeder History Group puts out Military History. They also make American History. I think that's the one that Bill Rutenberg was showing on his channel that he subscribes to. Kind of curious. I might check out that magazine too. I don't have American History. If you can, that's interesting that I don't have that. Oh God, I'm missing another one. Sorry. I wanted to show you another one that they produce, which is Military History Quarterly. So it's a quarterly one. This is bi-monthly. The quarterly has a little, like each article is a little longer, slightly different layout, but it's another keepsake type of thing. So this is the May 2020 issue. This one's on Mystery Ship. Yeah, they have a very nice layout. It's very modern. Big on bold fonts, bold type. You know, bleeds. Photo bleeds off the page. The type of approach. Ooh, this looks interesting. Finding Kujawiak. This is about 80 pages. And again, they cover a wide variety. World War II, they'll do, like, this one's on the French and Indian War, I believe. It's kind of dramatic. So these are kind of light and breezy. Yeah, it's not a lot to it, but you can get through them pretty quickly, and it can lead you to more reading. So I have Military Heritage, Military History, and then I've been finding that I really enjoy, I guess this actually doesn't come from America. This comes from overseas as well. Military History Matters. This is the bigger sized print, like the Military Heritage one. This was actually the February-March issue. So I think this is printed in the UK. Yeah, because even the book reviews give you like the UK covers and stuff. But it's actually quite affordable, and I actually like reading history, maybe, and I don't know if it's all written by people from Europe or Britain, but I think it's, I like getting a different perspective. Um, the type is very, very small. I have to say, I don't know what is going on with that. But luckily, I have reader glasses with 1-point magnification. I might need to bump that up. They do a lot on like World War I. There's trench warfare. Anyway, that was, this is the, well, that was February, March. This is the most recent one, April, May. And this is Balaclava. But yeah, so that's another military history magazine that I subscribe to. Can you guys believe it? I have a problem. Oh, so I am a member of the Naval Institute, just like as a supporter. And as part of that, I get a discount on their, oh, I think it's bi-monthly magazine, Naval History. So this is just naval history. No land, land wars or anything like that, but it covers the wide spectrum. We've got stuff from Civil War in here, blockade busters of the Confederate Navy. I've always been intrigued by the naval aspect of the Civil War, especially the ironclads. Let's see. Oh, and then I was, yeah, it's a global phenomenon. Okay, I'm not laughing at this. What I was laughing at is I just visited their site today because I needed to renew my membership. And they sell books there as well at the Naval Institute press site, and they have a whole section on, it's called Clear the Decks, books that are 50 to 90% off, and of course I found several. Now, I haven't pulled the trigger on them yet, or fired the cannon, as it were, but it's very tempting. They have a lot of really unique, kind of obscure titles that you just really couldn't find anywhere else. So, but I like their magazine. Again, it's about 64 pages. Just a nice mixture of time and place, and you can get these neat little charts in here, cross sections that kind of show you how the ships were built, in this case submarines, things I would never know otherwise. And I just love learning a wide variety of things. To me, if I just come away with something like, oh, I never knew that, I just get such a thrill. I don't know what it is. Well, guys, I think I showed you pretty much every history magazine that I subscribe to, although I forgot to bring along the Military History Quarterly. But it's very similar, as I said, it's very similar to this one. But instead of that, it just says MHQ. And next time if I think about it, I'll show it on my next video with the other magazines that are non-history related. But I hope you found this enjoyable. I know a few of you were hoping to see more magazines. I have finally done it. I have finally made this video. I hope I haven't lost all of you. I don't even know what minute mark we're at yet, but it feels like forever, right? It'll take me forever to get caught up on my magazines, but I don't know. It's a passion. It's a passion for learning. Let me know what you think of these, guys, and if you have any suggestions, if you know of a magazine that I have not even mentioned or covered, let me know, or don't let me know, because I might subscribe. Then Martine will kill me. No, she doesn't. She's very supportive of my crazy affinity for books and reading. She thinks it's fabulous. I guess that's why she says I'm so interesting a person. Sorry. I'm a goofball, and she knows that. But I do need to slow down on the book buying, that's for sure. And but I did start throwing out some magazines the other day, or recycling them. So that was a step forward for me, that I'm starting to let things go. And I'm going to be going through my closets where I have like magazines from a few years ago, history magazines and such, and Civil War magazines and such, that I just need to recycle. There's no point in me having them. So those I'm willing to part with. But there's some that I plan on keeping, like I said. Ancient warfare, medieval warfare, ancient history. I am keeping all of my Civil War Monitor magazines because it is only a quarterly, so 4 issues a year. And they are brilliant, in many cases, really relevant to current events that I'd like to look back at. Um, but I think it's time to start recycling some of these for sure. And yeah, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at this. You know, I'm not a hoarder or anything like that. I just, right now is I just have a backlog and I need to read them a lot faster. And so they're not piling up and then making me feel suffocated. You know what I mean? But I guess it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. And anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon, BookTube. Bye.